Will another campaign box ever be announced from Marvel Champions? Are they done? That's what we're going to talk about in today's Reddit reply, or at least the first thing we're going to talk about. Here's just one in the comments brought up. Next campaign box announcement. It's about time we hear something from about the next campaign box, isn't it? It was released in April, or it releases in April. So I was hoping for an announcement today. I'm recording this on Thursday, FYI. Bummer, maybe next Thursday. I can't wait. I figure I should be the first to tell you, as I know a lot of people come here for this different discussion, these different topics and stuff. Marvel Champions is dead. There's not going to be a next box. They're done. It had a good run, but they're calling it quits. They're taking their money. They're leaving. The Marvel IP isn't even really that big anymore. No one watches it. No one cares. Of course, I'm kidding. They're eventually going to come out with it, right? This is a joke we have over on our Discord all the time. If you're not part of our Discord, you should be. Links down below. But this is kind of this running joke that we have all the time on our Discord that it's done. And it is interesting because this is we talked about this before, and I don't have the exact dates, but this is the largest gap between like announcements, if I remember correctly, is what we figured out. And I think personally, what they're waiting for is to get Rogue and Gambit out the door. Give it a week or two after that, then make their announcement. So realistically, like end of February, probably beginning of March is when they would do their announcement. The bigger, more interesting thing is does this lead to a slowing down in content? If you ever have been a part of my streams over on Twitch, twitch.tv/D20 Woodworking, or part of our Discord community, whatever, I've talked about this a lot, where I think there's too much content, and I think it would be beneficial to not just us as community members, but to Fantasy Flight as a whole to slow down their content making process, because I think everyone needs like a breather, right? Everyone needs space, needs to slow down a little bit. And we have a ton of content for this game. I don't think the Marvel IP is going anywhere anytime soon, at least not for the next few years. So I think they have the ability to slow down and really iron out details, make sure that everything is pretty good and buttoned up well, right? Before they introduce anything else. So anyway, next one I talk about is, I just thought this was funny, is if I defeat Dark Phoenix, Consume the World goes away, right? Please say yes. I hate to tell you. That bad boy's a permanent. You cannot get rid of that card. And while there is no threat here, this scheme just loses the boost icon, which is the best you can really hope for, which is kind of interesting. I actually really like this design. And for those that are wondering, this is what Dark Phoenix looks like. It was a really rough nemesis. And I remember a lot of us content creators, excuse me, when we were talking about Phoenix and her coming out, we thought that if you got shadows, it was a death sentence, right? You would get a Dark Phoenix, and that'd be it. And your obligation, if I remember correctly, too, adds that card. I have to double check it really fast. But it's one of those things where we were just like, oh, that's it, right? Like you're not going to be able to survive. It's not gonna end well for people. And it turns out it's not the worst thing in the world. Here's Burning Hunger. When revealed, if you have the Unleashed trait, search the encounter deck and discard pile that says Dark Phoenix and reveal her. Then remove Burning Hunger from the game. If you have Restrained, remove one power counter from Phoenix Force, and this card gains Surge. Discard this card. So it can be really bad, right? It could be that one, and when it gets out, Dark Phoenix, Consume the World comes out. So anyway, as content creators, it's one of those things that we really thought this was going to be like this terrible card, and in practice, I don't think it's actually that bad. Like I think your focus shifts a lot, and a lot of people ask me how to play Phoenix in general because it's kind of this weird hero where I believe that you should, on the Restrained side, just focus on building up because she does have 3 thwart. And then when you're ready to like go, especially on expert, right? Expert, when you're on stage 3 and you're ready to like go, get on your unleashed side, or I guess you're restrained then unleashed, right? Get on your unleashed side and just like go for it. I think that's how you play her and whatever. When this Consume the World comes out and Dark Phoenix comes out, like they take main priority unless you can win that turn, right? So it kind of shifts your mindset from the villain is the worst thing to now they are the worst thing. It's a really interesting design, and I still really like it to this day. But it's just funny, I guess, in general, because it was one of those things that I feel like all the content creators were just like, nope, this is terrible, this is awful, this will never, go well for anybody. It makes her, not good or whatever. I still don't think it's that bad to get it. It's on solo, right? It's not that bad on solo. Excuse me. So CEO asks you to balance cards from cycle 1 up to 25 cards max. And they go through all these different stipulations and stuff like that, whatever. What's your take? And I do want to go through some of the community takes in a second because some people had some pretty good ideas. My big one is fixing Hulk. I still don't think Hulk is super well balanced. And I think the community kind of agrees with that. because he's always rated the worst hero, right? Maybe Valkyrie takes the crown now and again, but in generally speaking, it's hard to not have a conversation with someone and ask them, who do you think the worst hero is, multiplayer or solo, and they say Hulk. And I think there's several reasons for this. I think his forced interrupt here, when your turn ends, you would discard your hand. I think is very detrimental to him, especially with a 4 hand size, because you have cards like Hulk Smash that you want to get out there. And if you're going against a villain with tough, you can't like really ping damage easily with Hulk. So you just Hulk smash into a tough, and stuff like that really kind of hurts. Things like Crushing Blow, you can only spend a fist resource to pay for this card. A lot of these cards where, suborbital leap, 5 threat removal if you only use fist resources, right? You only get overkill if you use fist resources. This stuff, I think if Hulk was super powerful over the top, this stuff makes more sense, but I don't think he is. So it doesn't make as much sense. Now, let it be known, I still really like Hulk, right? Like that, I think that's an important piece. I still really like Hulk because I think he's a challenge. I think he's a challenge because he's not super designed well, right? So that's kind of my take on him. I still really enjoy playing him. I still think you can make a decent deck out of Hulk. But he, in my opinion, has so many problems, especially with like, if you end up with cards like Unstoppable Force, right, where you ready Hulk, and you only have 4 cards in your hand, that means you end up with a dead card in your hand. And maybe if you used only fist resources, you can draw a card and hopefully pay for it if it's a 1-cost card. But if not, you're just throwing away a card for no reason. Now, there are cards that have come out over time that have helped him a little bit, mainly in Spider's kit. So you do have access to some of those cards, which makes it a little bit better. We can bring them up 1 second. But I still don't think like it completely changes the game to make him like, super good at anything. So for example, you do have Limitless Stamina, which I do think is a good card for Hulk, right? 14 hit point cost. He has that. You can ready him up, which is really useful. Unshakable is really nice because the big thing was if he got stunned, Hulk was like kind of done for a round, and you can't afford to have Hulk be done for a round. The other thing I would point out with that too, if we can get to it, is I think it was Spider-Ham that has the card. Maybe not. I forgot what the card is, but it's the one where you just throw away a card and you do 2 damage. I can't remember exactly who had that card now. But I think that was another. There it is. Plan B. That's what it is. Plan B is another super useful card for him. We'll see if this loads. I don't think it's going to. So we'll zoom in. So you exhaust Plan B and discard 1 random card from your hand. If you only have 1 left, it's easy. You deal 2 damage to your enemy. I think this card also helps out Hulk a lot. So yes, there are cards that help him out and make him a bit better, but I still think his deck as a whole has a bunch of issues. So I think you start there. But going back to the community, this person talks they're pretty good. They're talking about Hulk. Obviously, you fix Hulk. Cannot be stunned. Hand size 5. Force response at the beginning of your turn before triggering any other abilities. Discard 1 card from your hand. Alter Ego. Draw 2 cards. Discard 2 cards. Spider-Man, Avenger or Web Warrior trait, I think is an interesting change. I think I actually like that a lot. Threat threshold is 7 per player plus 3, which I think is good. Rhino is notoriously hard on solo, so it's just a bit much, for Rhino. A lot of people that are new to the game playing solo, they take out Rhino and they go, oh, he's like the introductory villain. Nah, that guy's tough. He's rough. This person has some good ideas with Black Panther that I really like with Tactical Genius. Remove 2 threat, 3 threat if the last sequence. Crisis Indication, kind of like balancing out threat removal, because threat removal we've seen been a little bit stronger as they try to balance it for solo. I like the She-Hulk ground stomp. I think this is pretty interesting, pretty cool. And then they also nerfed cards, which I think is important. Maria Hill having 2 thwart is super powerful. Make the call. I agree with this. Making the call cost increase by 1, I think makes sense because it's so easy to get good allies back in over and over. So, and then the other big one, Valkyrie Deathglow, it only costs 0 now. That's a huge one. It's probably what should be, or she should have something what Quicksilver has, where when Quicksilver readies up, his resource generator readies up. That should have been done for Valkyrie, right? Valkyrie readies up, that resource generator readies up. That would have been a simple way of doing it. I don't know if they thought she was too good or what, but that should have definitely been there. All right, the last thing is not Marvel Champions related. It's actually Marvel United, which is currently going through a Kickstarter right now. And they talk about it's a good game for solo. And, it's pretty interesting. I know a lot of people in our Discord and the community in general love Marvel, and they're really interested about this, which I think is pretty cool. And I think it always seemed like an interesting game to me. You can get it pretty cheap. Like they said, the base game is $15 on Amazon. So it's one of those things. Like I just want to know if people have played this. Like I've been looking at the Kickstarter first for it. Excuse me, and it looks interesting, but I don't know if it's the game I really want to invest in. I kind of wanted to go all in on it, as terrible as that kind of sounds. But as of recording this, they raised $816,000. So they're absolutely crushing it, obviously. And it seems like a good amount of content, but I almost want like the original stuff now and all of it. And as you know, my child gets older, I want to get them in the board games. I always felt like this was a good way to get them in there, because it's a it's a friendly IP and it seems like a friendly game, and they're revamping Solo anyway. So yeah, let me know. Let me know if this is something that you're interested in or that you're looking at. I'm kind of interested in hearing what people think about this and what they think about CMON in general and whatnot. So anyway, that's it for this week's Reddit Reply. I appreciate you all being here. Friendly reminder, this Sunday, we're doing Sunday morning coffee and games. Make sure you're there. And it'll be a good one. It'll be a lot of fun. And I really appreciate you all hanging out and watching this till the end. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you all next time.